a new place for the chariots has prepared. Anu and Antu's celestial chariot stood there ready. With gold to the brim, it was loaded. As the time for departing came, Anu to his children words of goodbye and guidance said, "Whatever destiny for the earth and the earthlings intended, let it so be. If man, not Anunnaki, to inherit the earth is destined, let us, which is destiny, help. Give mankind knowledge up to only a measure of secrets of the heavens and earth them teach. Laws of justice and righteousness teach them, then depart and leave." So did Anu to his children fatherly instructions give. Once more they hugged, embraced and kissed, and from the new chariot's place, Anu and Antu for Nibiru left. The first to break the sorrowed silence was Marduk, also known as Amun-Ra. With anger were his words. "What is this new place of celestial chariots? Of the others an explanation," he demanded. "What after my exile without my knowledge has transpired?" When Enki of the decisions about the 4 regions to Marduk told, Marduk's fury knew no bounds. Why will Inanna, a cause of Dumuzi's death, her own region get? The decisions have been made, they cannot be altered. So did Enlil to Mars. Separate skyships to the Eden and its adjoining lands they returned. Sensing trouble, Enlil told Ishkur to stay behind over the gold he shall watch. To commemorate Anu's visit, a new count of time passage was introduced. By Earth years, not by Nibiru's Shahs. What on Earth transpired was to be counted. In the age of the bull, to Enlil dedicated, was the count of Earth years begun. When to the Eden the leaders returned, the place of the first civilized region. How to make bricks from mud, the Anunnaki taught the Earthlings, therewith great cities to build. But where once cities of the Anunnaki alone had stood, cities for both them and Earthlings now arose. Therein, and in new cities for the great Anunnaki, sacred precincts were consecrated. Therein, the Anunnaki with lofty abodes were provided, temples by mankind they were called. Therein, the Anunnaki leaders and houses as lofty lords were served and worshipped. By number ranks were they honored, the heirship to mankind made known. Anu the heavenly, the rank of 60 held, to Enlil the 50 rank was given. On Ninurta, his foremost son, did Enlil the same rank bestow. Next, in succession was the Lord Enki, the rank of the number 40 he held. To Nanna, the son of Enlil and Ninlil, the rank of 30 was assigned. To his son and successor Utu, the rank of 20 was allotted. 10 as a number rank to the other Anunnaki leaders' sons was granted. Ranks by the 5s between the female Anunnaki and spouses were shared. When Eridu and Nibiru Ki and their temple abodes were completed. In Lagash, the Girsu precinct for Ninurta was built. His black sky bird there was kept. Eninu, House of 50, was the temple abode for Ninurta and Bau, his spouse called. The Supreme Hunter and the Supreme Smiter, weapons a gift of Anu, the Eninu protected. Where Sipar before the deluge had been, on top of the mud soil Utu, a new Sipar established. In the Ebabar, the shining house, an abode for Utu and his spouse Aya was raised. From there, Utu for mankind laws of justice promulgated. Where because of silt mud, the olden plans could not be followed, new sites were chosen. ADB, a site from Shurubak not distant, for Ninharsag as a new center was made. The House of Succor and Healing Knowledge was her temple abode therein named. The genetic codes of how the Earthlings were fashioned Ninharsag in its holy shrine kept. For Nanar, a city with straight streets, canals and wharves was provided. Urim was its name, House of the Throne Seed was its temple abode called, the moon's beams to the lands it reflected. Ishkur to the mountain lands of the north returned, the House of 7 Storms his abode was called. Inanna in Unugki resided, in the abode by Anu bequeathed to her she dwelt. Marduk, also known as Amun-Ra, and Nabu in Eridu dwelt. In the Edin, their own abodes they did not have. Now this is the account of the first city of men and of kingship on earth, and how Marduk to build a tower schemed, and wherefore Inanna the genetic code of earthlings was stole. In the first region, in the lands of Edin, and in the cities with precincts, by their Anunnaki lords the earthlings' handiworks and crafts were taught. Before long were the fields irrigated. On canal and river boats soon they sailed. The sheepfolds and granaries were overflowing, prosperity the land filled. Kiengi, land of the lofty watchers, the first region it was called. Then to let the black-headed people, a city of their own, possess it was decided. Kishi, Skepta City it was called. In Kishi did the kingship of man begin. Therein in consecrated soil, Anu and Enlil the heavenly bright object implanted. In it Ninurta the first king appointed, mighty man was his royal title. To make it a center for civilized mankind, Ninurta to Eridu journeyed, the genetic tablets that for kingship divine formulas hold from Enki to obtain. Properly attired with respect, Ninurta Eridu entered. For the genetic DNA codes of kingship, he asked Enki, the lord who all the safeguards, 50 to Ninurta granted. In Kishi where the black-headed people with numbers to calculate were taught, heavenly Ningish Zida, also known as Thoth, writing them he taught, heavenly Ningish Zida beer making them showed. In Kishi, by Ninurta guided, kiln work and smithing proliferated. Wheeled wagons, to male asses harnessed, craftily in Kishi first were fashioned. Laws of justice and righteous behavior in Kishi were promulgated. It was in Kishi that the people hymns of praise to Ninurta composed. Of his heroic deeds and victories they sang, of his awe-inspiring blackbird they chanted. How in faraway lands the bisons he subdued, how the white metal to mix with copper he found. Ninurta's glorious time it was, with the constellation of the archer he was honored. All the while Inanna in Unukki, her lordship in the third region awaited, all the while the domain of her own of the leaders she demanded. The third region after the second one will come, her leaders thus assured her. Having seen how Ninurta to Eridu journeyed, how the genetic codes of kingship he obtained, Inanna in her heart a plan devised, to obtain from Enki she schemed. Her chambermaid Ninshubur to Eridu she dispatched, a visit by Inanna to announce. On this hearing, Enki to Isimud, his housemaster, quickly instructions gave, the maiden, all alone, to my city Eridu her step is directing. When all alone she will arrive, my inner chambers let her enter. Pour for her cold water to freshen her heart, barley cakes with butter give her, sweet wine prepare, the beer vessels to the rim fill up. When Inanna alone the abode of Enki entered, Isimud Enki's commands he followed. Then when Enki Inanna greeted, by Inanna's beauty, he was overwhelmed. With jewelry was Inanna bedecked, by her thin dress her body she revealed. When she bent down, her vulva by Enki was thoroughly admired. From the wine cups, sweet wine they drank, for beer drinking a competition they had. Show me the DNA genetic codes of the earthlings, Inanna to Enki playfully said. Let the codes in my hand hold. 7 times in the course of the competition, Enki to Inanna DNA code to hold he gave. The divine formulas for lordship and kingship, for priesthood and scribeship, for love dressing and for warring DNA formulas to Inanna Enki to hold he gave. For music and singing, woodworking and metals and precious stones, 94 genetic codes for civilized kingdoms are needed, Enki to Inanna gave. Holding her prizes tightly, Inanna from the slumbering drunk Enki slipped away. To her boat of heaven she rushed out, to soar away her pilot she instructed. When Enki from his slumber by Isimud was awakened, get hold of Inanna, to Isimud he said. When from Isimud that Inanna had already in her boat of heaven departed, Enki heard. To chase Inanna in Enki's skyship, Isimud he instructed. All the genetic codes you must retrieve. To him he said. At the approach to Unugki, Isimud Inanna's boat of heaven intercepted. To return to Eridu and the wrath of Enki to face, he made her. But when Inanna back to Eridu was brought, the genetic codes were no longer with her. To her chambermaid Ninshubur she gave them. To the house of Anu, in Unugki Ninshubur took them. In the name of my power, in the name of my father Anu, I command you the genetic codes to return. So did Enki angrily to Inanna say, in his abode captive he held her. When of this Enlil heard, to Eridu to face his brother he came. By right I obtained them, Enki himself in my hand placed them. So did Inanna to Enlil her grandfather say, the truth of that Enki meekly admitted. When the time term of Kishi shall be completed, to Unugki kingship shall pass. So did Enlil declare. When Marduk all this did hear, greatly he was enraged, his anger no bounds knew. Enough has my humiliation been. To his father Enki, Marduk shouted, a sacred city of his own in the Eden from Enlil, he forthwith demanded. When Enlil to Marduk's appeal, no heed paid. Marduk, fate in his own hands, grasped to a place that for Anu's arrival, before Unuki was selected, was considered Nabu the Ijiji and their offspring from their dispersal